guys, this is Iris over here and Chloe with me, and today I really wanted to do a different kind of video. I usually like to do like self-development videos and help people kind of like tap into themselves, but today I actually just wanted to talk about my some of my personal achievements and struggles into how I started tapping into the magic of conscious manifestations, into how I started manifesting like a mofo. So if you are looking into how to become more authentic, how to start manifesting the things that you truly want, because everything is available to you and there is nothing more that I do not believe more? No more? I don't even know. It's a knowing. It's not even a belief at this point. So if you are looking to tap into that knowing, I definitely suggest that you stay tuned. First of all, I just want to say that I don't come from money. I am an immigrant. I am Venezuelan American. I came here when I was 9 years old, so I was born over there, but I am an American citizen. Since I was a very small child, I knew that I belonged here. I knew that I didn't belong there, and I know a lot of people that are immigrants have actually said the same thing. So I'm definitely proud of my roots. However, I know that this is my home. Okay, with that said, I grew up having, I grew up from a broken home. And my parents divorced, my original parents divorced when I was very, very young, 5 years old, you can say. My father was incredibly abusive. He was definitely sociopathic. And as a child, I really wanted to understand my father. And another thing is that I started to see the same emotions in other people as a child. I was a very curious kid, by the way, and I think curiosity is what really takes you to the next level in life. Okay, so I definitely if you're curious about life, please do some research on anything. Growing up in school, I used to be called Little Jesus or Jack of all trades because I knew a fact of everything. That's another thing. I don't have any crazy achievements. I don't have any crazy achievements. I hated school, all right? I'm sorry for the people that love school. That's great. You fit in. I never fit in. I was a C student and I tried so hard. I had to try so hard just to get a B, basically. And there were so many things that I didn't like about school. And so and at the same time, I really wanted to be a part of that. So in other words, I had all the odds against me, and I just really want to reiterate that. And at the age of 32, I am breaking through all the barriers that my parents have been able to break through, and I still see them struggle from time to time. And there is a part of me sometimes that I feel guilty because I'm living the life that I want, and now I'm just building on building this life. And so I also grew up with, my mother saying, as I freaking love her, but she would say, honey, there's no money, whenever I wanted something. Honey, there's no money. Honey, there's no money. Mommy can't right now. Another thing that she would say was, honey, don't ask me for money. There's no money, okay? And I really respected that. I really did. I really didn't want to put my mom through any sort of headache because I want it, But can you imagine the subconscious programming that does to a child that turns into an adult when the child keeps hearing that there's no money and there's not enough? Okay, just let that simmer for a second, because those are the trials and tribulations that I had to do and that I had to break through. And then another thing is, growing up in school, I never fit in school. I was a C student that struggled so hard to get a B. Think about the level of self-worth that I had, that I knew it within my heart. I knew that I was smart. I knew that I was capable, but at the same time, I couldn't prove it in a test. I couldn't prove it to my teachers, and so I grew up really hating school. But at the end of the day, I hated school because it was really messing with my self-worth. So that was another thing that I had to break through in life. These are my roots. These are my roots, and I really want to talk about them because this is the truth, and this is the truth for a lot of people. This is probably the truth for you. And my 20s were a mess. My 20s were a complete mess because I was the totally lost individual. I was in the real world and I had absolutely no idea. I dealt with a lot of addictive tendencies to things. I dealt with a lot of misery. I felt like I almost felt like people even did witchcraft on me because all these horrible things would happen to me. Example, I've gotten into over 10 car accidents where I could have died. I went through overdose. Actually, I was dying in my overdose, and that was one of my biggest spiritual awakenings, because as I was dying in the ambulance, I knew there was a moment that my consciousness came out and I knew it was death, and it was very peaceful. Actually, dying is very peaceful, by the way. It's a transition. It's not really death. We don't die. And if you don't know this, study Einstein. He was the first person that knew that energy, because we are energy, more than human, you are energy. Energy doesn't die. It just transforms from one form to another. Okay? And I could even go deeper into that. I started studying quantum physics. And so I realized as I was dying, my consciousness came out, and my so-called guides, they spoke to me. They told me, they're like, okay, do you want to stay or do you want to go? Because you're miserable right now. And you've been miserable. All throughout my 20s, I was depressed and lonely. And that is the ignite of addiction. Addictions are born under extreme levels of isolation and loneliness. The opposite of addiction is not sobriety, guys. The opposite of addiction is connection. So please take that into consideration. So what changed for me? What changed for me? And I absolutely love this answer. What changed for me was that I was in such a low state, and I realized, there were two factors that put me in that state. Three, you can say three. It was my overdose, but I still continued doing drugs and partying. I tamed it, but I was still doing the same thing. And one definitive moment that changed my life forever was when I got raped. A year after that, so I was around 24 years old, and everything just clicked on me in that moment, because I realized that my victim mentality created everything. I realized that I created this moment for myself, and that's when I started to understand that I was creating my reality. Because I was living under a victim mentality, because I was so unhappy with myself. I was so unhappy with the world. I did not believe in God. At that time, I knew I had a certain ability for manifestations, because I see the world in patterns and in cycles. And so I would see these patterns in myself and in others, but I couldn't understand it until the moment that I got raped. And that's what changed for me. And so after that moment, I had to face myself, and I had to face the fact that I wasn't changing, even though I went through overdose, even though I went through rape, even though if I wouldn't have been drinking, all that stuff wouldn't have happened, right? I was able to understand that I was creating my reality into misery, but then something else happened, which was I looked at somebody and I realized that person is happier than me. And when I realized that, I knew I didn't believe in anything, but I knew that I believed in happiness. Why? Because that person has it and I don't have it. I don't feel what they're feeling right there. And that's empathy. And we all have it. And so that's what set me on my journey. And that's what set me to realize I can't do this alone. I needed help, and I cannot stop drinking alone. I need the help. I needed support. And so I got myself into a program, and I started really just chasing and learning about happiness. And I started, of course, understanding that I'm creating my reality. And little by little, the teachers, the situations started to align themselves into this. And now I help other people achieve their sense of abundance, I help people clear themselves of negative programming. There's not enough. That's the number one thing that we need to clear in our lives. There is not enough. That's BS. There is plenty of money out there, plenty of love, and plenty of abundance. And so I just really wanted to talk real quick about this. I think honestly I went a little bit overboard. I didn't mean to. I really just wanted to talk like maybe 5 minutes. But I really hope that this video has really resonated with you. You know, you can achieve and you can do whatever you want. You just have to take away the layers of BS that you were told that there is not enough. But we as humans, we are composed of layers of emotions, and we have to get to the bottom of them and lift them. And so this is just my attempt to open your minds a little bit and let you guys know what this is all about and what I am all about. You know, if this is really resonating with you, I actually, and I have to say this, I actually have a 10-day manifesting mastermind on self-love and body love, because all manifestations start with you. And by the way, I was also suffering from an eating disorder for 13 years that I've been able to let go. And I was bulimic for a very long time as well, and that was my biggest secret in life. Now I'm like, whatever, but it was crazy. I had it so controlled, and there was so much shame and so much guilt. Guilt and shame are the things that prevent you from receiving. It's stored in your second chakra, your sacral, and it's blocked. Receiving money, receiving pleasure, receiving goodness is blocked by guilt and shame. And so when I started to let go of my guilt and shame, things started to drastically change in my life, And so anyway, I have a 10-day mastermind coming up. You're more than welcome to check my website. It is, I mean, I don't want to talk too much about it. It's amazing. There will be replays. It's 10 days of intensive learning on manifestation and letting go and transformation. However, the material will stay with you forever. And so I love you guys. You know, you're more than welcome to check out more of my videos on my YouTube, Universal Iris. You can follow me always on Facebook. I have what is called the Awakening Hour every other Thursday. I do free angel readings every other Thursday. And I love you guys. I hope I can make a small difference in your life. Mwah.